Here is a list of 5 films released in 2011 that simply failed to live up to our expectations. Bear in mind this isn't at all synonymous with the worst of list for 2011, so here goes. At number 5, Battle Los Angeles. Battle Los Angeles was marketed as a realistic and unpolished war flick in the vein of Black Hawk Down, featuring US soldiers battling literal alien invaders. While director Jonathan Liebesman went overboard with shaky cam and frantic editing, the main culprit responsible for the movie being just so-so was Christopher Bertolini's screenplay. Even some pretty solid acting wasn't enough to overcome predictable plot twists, clunky character beats, and a less than captivating storyline. Battle Los Angeles was one of 2 releases in 2011 that aimed to effectively mash up sci-fi with another genre, but was only somewhat successful with the blend. The other film in question didn't turn out so well either. Number 4 is Cowboys and Aliens. A popular fake movie poster that renamed Cowboys and Aliens as Geek Nirvana was right on the money. This project featured creative input from people like Iron Man director Jon Favreau, producers Steven Spielberg and Ron Howard, along with Star Trek writers Alex Kurtzman and Roberta Orci, Lost Rider co-showrunner Damon Lindelof, and Iron Man scribes Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby. Not to mention it pitted James Bond Daniel Craig and Indiana Jones Harrison Ford against aliens in an Old West backdrop. Having so many cooks in the kitchen ultimately didn't help the sci-fi meets western romp. Cowboys and Aliens is a standard and serviceable popcorn flick, but given the talent involved, we expected something more. For all the premature skepticism that surrounded the film because of its campy title, it's kind of ironic that combining a gritty western with sci-fi archetypes was the one thing that this movie didn't have much trouble doing. Coming in at number 3 is J. Edgar. Clint Eastwood's latest filmmaking effort is another case where the final product turned out well decent. Still, this had the potential to be far more than a run-of-the-mill biographical drama, one which fumbles some fascinating subject matter, a tedious approach to storytelling, and even some questionable technical qualities. J. Edgar isn't all disappointment, of course. It does feature some very good supporting turns from people like Armie Hammer and Judi Dench. Not to mention some of the best period-accurate production design you're likely to see on-screen outside of acclaimed period TV dramas like Mad Men and Boardwalk Empire. All the same, Eastwood's Hoover biopic as a whole is kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio's performance as the title character. Satisfactory but disappointingly far from crowning achievement it had the potential to be. Sucker Punch makes it a number 2. Zack Snyder's ambitious attempt to blend his trademark hyper-realistic visuals and rockin' soundtracks with an original storyline that pays homage to Alice in Wonderland and borrows a few tricks from Inception certainly looked and sounded like a shiny female-centric action blockbuster in early trailers and clips, that is. Sadly, Sucker Punch ultimately proved unable to coherently address its own existential themes or create interesting characters. The film's action sequences and set pieces weren't all that thrilling either. Schneider, by his own admittance, attempted to structure the movie as a meta-commentary on the often sexualized nature of geek culture. His inability to pull that off resulted in Sucker Punch feeling more like an inadvertently exploitative 2-hour-long music video that isn't nearly as brainy as it fancies itself to be. And the most disappointing movie of 2011 at number 1 is Green Lantern. This particular DC comic book flick has stirred up more debate than any other 2011 blockbuster. Pre-release buzz varied from hostile to ecstatic. When the actual movie was released, the majority of moviegoers were undeniably disappointed, and yet a passionate minority continues to insist that Green Lantern got an unfair bum rap from critics. Green Lantern was the biggest letdown of 2011, not only because of how it fumbled the superhero's mythology, but also because it had weak dialogue, a lackluster plot, curious lapses in character motivation, and expensive digital effects that distracted from rather than enhancing the film's messy thematic arc.